Hey folks, in this video example we're going to talk about importing data from Google Drive and keeping that data in sync going forward. The real nice thing about this is that you can have a data source in Google Drive that you can manipulate and share and transform and keep up to date in Google Drive, and then also keep MetaLocator in sync. That in sync part comes from our backgrounding add-on, and so if you don't have that add-on, you can add it by clicking upgrade in your account. But otherwise, you can also follow this tutorial to understand how to import data from Google Drive on a manual basis. So we're going to start under data and then import, and then go to import from Google Sheets icon with a little G plus. There's also this G down here, that's Google My Business, so avoid that one for now. Click import from Google Sheets, and that'll take you to the screen where it may ask you to log into your Google account. Before I click that, I'm going to point out this checkbox here that says keep Google Data Sheets in sync. That checkbox is what enables this process to create a background job that runs on a regular basis that will keep your data in sync with Google. Now, if you don't see that checkbox, that means you don't have access to our backgrounding add-on, in which case you can contact us for help, or you can add that via the billing menu and click upgrade. So I'm going to connect to my Google Drive account, and that'll pop up this little box. I've already signed in, but it might ask you for your permission for MetaLocator to use your Google account. So I'm going to pick this sample spreadsheet, but notice I've got a bunch here. The only sheets that are available here are actual Google Sheets, and it's important to understand the difference between a Google Sheet and, say, a file you uploaded to your Google Drive. Google Sheets are actual Google Sheets. They've got this little green X icon. So if you have a spreadsheet, for example, you can open it in Drive and create a Google Sheet from it. And so just to distinguish that from a regular old CSV. So I see all my Google Sheets here. I'm going to go ahead and pick this little starter import file. And the system will start importing that data, pulling it down from Google Drive in order to show us what we've pulled down. And so the process from this point forward is really just the same process that you'll experience when you import a file off your desktop. And so I won't spend too much time describing this stuff. All these columns match to our other columns. We don't have a country column in this one, and that's why we're getting that little warning. But we can go ahead and continue forward and click next. Right now I don't have any data in my account, and so I'm going to go ahead and choose update existing and insert new. And then I'm also going to choose delete unmatched records. And so you don't have to check that if you're not familiar with this process, but the options that I choose here are the ones that I want to have replayed every time this job runs. So for example, if I chose add, without any keys in place, the system would just keep adding records each time, possibly creating duplicates. And so if you use update existing and insert new, what that will do is synchronize the data with Google Drive without creating a bunch of duplicates. You can make that a bidirectional sync, meaning we'll delete records that we don't find in Google Drive that we do find in MetaLocator by checking this advanced delete unmatched record box. So those are the options that I want this job to run with every time. So I'm going to go ahead and click finish. And so that will import the process once. In this case, I did this once before, so I'll go ahead and delete that record and click continue. And so the data's been imported, but what's also happened is a job has been created in the background. So jobs are over here, if you see that little process icon in the upper right. And so that import process went ahead and created this job for us. Notice it's not scheduled yet. So we're going to need to switch that over to scheduled. If you want to, you can open this job up and you can look at some of its options. The only one that you would necessarily want to change is the amount of time that it waits between the time it runs this job, and this is in seconds. And so the number of seconds between job executions, you would want to keep that at least above 3,600. And that would make sure that no jobs would, run together or overlap or anything like that. And so I'm going to leave that. This is once a day, 86,400, and hit save. And I'm actually going to come back in here, and I'm also going to schedule it. I could have chosen schedule from that list, but I'm also going to just slide that over to scheduled. And so if I look over at my data here, We'll take a look at an example of just seeing how this works. I got sample location. These are my IDs. They're pretty straightforward. I'm going to go over to that import. This is back in Google Drive now. And I'm just going to call this sample location. I'm just going to write I changed this. And so I have an external key here. And so you can read about external keys in our support docs, but they allow us to uniquely identify this record across from Google Drive in MetaLocator. And so I went ahead and made that change. Now, if I just walked away and never did anything, after 86,400 seconds, MetaLocator would sync that data up. And in this case, I've got a couple extra tabs open. We're running this on a 24-hour clock, but I would actually like to force this job to run because I want to see how it would work. And so if I look at all records, I'm just going to open this up in a second tab, and we see my location. Notice it hasn't changed yet. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to force this, click force. And so every minute or so, our system looks for jobs that have been forced and it runs them. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video while that job runs. In real life, this might take anywhere from like 1 to 5 minutes. So if you need to get coffee or water, go ahead and take a break and then come back, and hopefully we should see an updated record. So be right back. Okay, that was a lot faster than I thought. In this case, you can see now it says sample location, I changed this. And so we've repeated that job, and that's run on a regular basis. And that's all there is to creating a Google Drive connection with MetaLocator. Reach out to support if you have any questions. Thanks.